On today's episode of the DuckZone503 Podcast, we're going to be recapping and reacting to this Week 10 matchup of California versus number 6 Oregon, where they put it on the Golden Bears 63-19 at home in a rainy Autzen Stadium. But we all know it never rains in Autzen Stadium, baby. I'm your host, Dominiqk Peterson. This is the DuckZone503 Podcast, where we talk all things Oregon football. Let's get into it, people. You know the drill.
Welcome to the DuckZone503 Podcast, talking all things Oregon football, with your host, Dominiqk Peterson. Let's go.
Welcome in today's edition of the DuckZone503 Podcast. Today is Sunday, November 5th, 2023, and I am happy to be with you people off this big-time victory at home. Oregon showing once again why they're college football playoff contenders, sitting right outside that college football playoff contention talk, and many believe they might be the Pac-12 favorite to win the Pac-12. They got that loss to Washington, but Washington's looked a little iffy the last few weeks. They got a nice 10-point win against USC, but the Ducks have just been dominant. I mean, dominant, blowing out opponents left and right ever since that loss, and have really looked like the favorite in this conference, no doubt. Blowing teams out like they should, playing exactly both sides of the ball how they should, and special teams coming up strong in this game for sure. We're going to talk about it all, recap and analysis episode. Ducks get it done 63-19 at home over the Cal Bears in Autzen Stadium. Really enjoyed meeting all of you out there, man. When I go out to those games, you know, I'm a season ticket holder. Whenever I see you guys, I meet you guys. You guys listen to the podcast. It is so awesome to see you guys, take pictures with you guys, and just meet everybody who listens to the podcast. There's no better feeling than that. So if you ever see me and you're like, I don't know, I don't want to bother, come bother me all you want. You are not bothering me one bit. I love connecting. This is literally what I do it for, is to connect with Duck fans like you guys. So really appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Also connecting with the players on the field, man. Got to meet a bunch of players on the field. And if you guys ever get the chance to come out to Autzen Stadium, experience a game, make sure you stick around, okay? They make you wait about 5 minutes after the game. Some of you probably know this already, but I was able to get some pictures, okay? So I'll share this with you guys. This is great. Absolutely love getting pictures with some of these players here and just sharing a moment with these guys, letting them know they've done good. You know, Triquez Bridges here, you know, bringing something to the defense, definitely stepping up when he's needed. You know, Evan Williams coming up with that fumble recovery in this game. What a play by Evan Williams. Shout out Anna, my guy Kyler from high school. They came out. That's his girl. You know, they came out first Duck game for my guy Kyler here. Fifth Duck game for Anna here. She's been a Duck fan, so it was great to bring these guys out. Got to meet, let them meet some players. Jamal Hill, moving him from linebacker. He played safety last year. Now he's a linebacker, covering those guys in the middle. Makes a huge difference there. And he put on some weight. So, man, Jamal Hill is really playing lights out. And then, you know, we got Bryson Bolton. Okay, guy doesn't really play a lot yet, but this was a three-star commit out of, I think he was out of Florida, if I'm correct. And this guy, you know, he can play. No doubt. Coming out where you play a lot of the best high school kids in the country out there in Florida, and now you're coming over here to Oregon. I mean, I think Bryce Bolton definitely got a future. Actually, I think Bryce Bolton's from California. Whether he's from Florida or California, I'd have to double check. But I think I'm pretty sure he's out of California, actually. The guy I'm thinking is Norris Wilson, who is out of Lakeland, Florida. But Bryce Bolton, yeah, he's out of California. And Florida, Texas, California, those three states, you're playing some of the best high school competition. So we're talking like, if he's a 3-star in California, he's probably a 4 or 5-star here in Oregon, you know, just off the way things going based off competition. But yeah, definitely excited to see Bryce Bolton to play. Shout out Bryce Bolton. Shout out, you know, linebacker Jamal Hill, Evan Williams, the safety, and, you know, Triquez Bridges. Can't forget him. So if you guys ever go out there, you ever have that opportunity, make sure to go see what's up with the players. If you guys enjoy Oregon football content and podcasts just like this, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Rate the podcast if you're listed on Spotify. 5 stars for me. Definitely helps out with the algorithm, letting more Duck fans get to this channel. We're sitting at 9 185 subscribers on YouTube, guys. If you are not subscribed, please check, because the goal was 1,000 starting this season, and we are about to hit it before even the end of the season, thanks to you guys. So really appreciate everybody who tunes in. Trying to give you 2 podcasts a week, preview and prediction, then a recap and analysis episode. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in, and go Ducks. What's going on, Matthew? If Oregon wins out and they have a favorable playoff game, they can win the Natty, no doubt. All it takes is one good matchup, one good win, and you're in that national championship. It's a beautiful thing in the 4-team playoff before we get to the 12 in the next coming years. I might be there for USC. Matthew, say what's up. Like I said, anybody who's at these games, I'm there. I would love to chat, hang out, whatever you guys want to do. Grab a beer. Hell, let's do it. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into the recap. So first quarter, guys, a little bit of a slow start for the Ducks in this game. Started off a little sloppy from the get-go. First play of the game, Bo Nix throws an interception. Literally first play of the game in the rain on a pass that really could have been caught by Tej Johnson, okay? The Cal defender was just there. Right place, right time. He got the interception to start the game. Here's the difference for Oregon this year, though. They have a defense, all right? That offense with Bo Nix, all those wide receivers, Bucky Irving that can run that ball, that O-line that doesn't give up nothing. We also got a defense, and that's been the key for Oregon this year on their success. Casey Rogers gets excellent pressure up the middle, forces Mendoza to throw a pass in the middle that's picked off by Steve Stevens. Defense answers after Oregon starts out with a bad turnover. Oregon teams in the past, that turnover that would have happened at the beginning of the game probably would derail the momentum for the rest of the game. This Oregon team, the defense just comes up with another big play. We get the ball right back. You know, when we got it right back, it was really clear that Cal was just not going to stop this Oregon run game. Bucky Irving was gashing that Cal defense. Bucky could have scored the first touchdown in the game, but something, you know, there was a little bit of a problem this game was penalties, okay? Patrick Herbert was called for holding. It gets called back. What appeared to be the first touchdown for the Ducks. On a 2nd and 37, guys, this play here, Bo Nix loads up, finds his brother, Tej Johnson, right between 2 defenders in that zone, that sweet spot, in between that corner and the safety, gets it right to him on a dart, and Tej Johnson, you know what he does with it when he gets the rock. Boom. 48 yards to the end zone. Ducks go up 7-0. And with just around 5 minutes left in the first quarter, it's 3rd and 3 here. Ducks need a stop. Okay, I want to talk about this. I want to go on a little bit of a rant here. Look, last year, the Ducks were near the bottom half of all of college football, all the FBS, and getting teams off the field on 3rd down. Not only last year, but even 2 years in a row. This defense, on 3rd down, it just felt, even when it was 3rd and 8, it just felt like, oh, here we go again, man. Just bite your nails, close your eyes. Hopefully we get them off the field. This year, feels like the Ducks are ready to make those big plays. It feels like I got some confidence. Whenever we get teams on 3rd down, I'm like, let's go. Ducks are about to get the ball back. Whereas years prior, it felt like on 3rd down, it's like, oh, here we go. We got them in where we wanted, but I just don't have confidence. This year on this defense, I got confidence in this defense to get teams off the field. And and that's just what happened. Brandon Dorless, like he has all year long, gets pressure on Mendoza in the first quarter, forces the fumble. Ducks hop on it at the 1-yard line. Next play, like clockwork, Bo Nix sneaks it in for a touchdown. Ducks go up 14-0 in this game. Cal then gets it back. Mendoza started to, get a little comfortable in this game. At this point, this is his 3rd drive of the game. Ducks stop him mid-drive. Cal had to settle for 3 points on a 43-yard field goal. Next drive, the Ducks get the ball back. They give it right back to Cal on a missed handoff pitch from Bo Nix on a Ducks fumble. Cal picks it right up and scores. Cal gets a little closer. At this point, it's 14-10 in the game. So right at the end of the first quarter here, Ducks are on a 3rd and 3. Bo Nix ducks under the Cal defender, shuffles to the right to evade the rush, and throws a dart to the sideline for a first down. I mean, guys, if you want to talk about a Heisman moment, he nearly had the exact same play at Utah last weekend, guys, in the red zone. This dude is special. You guys want to talk about a Heisman moment? Watch this play right here by Bo Nix. Right at the end of the first quarter, okay? Ducks need this first down. This is absolutely huge. He ducks under the defender. He did this at Utah, too. and makes the play. Okay, guys, so look. Boom. What do we got? We got shotgun. We got a guy motioning out here. We got three wide receivers out here, and then you got a wide receiver out here going to do an out route. We got one-on-one, it looks like. This guy's going to get pressure on Nix here. Nix is going to just do a little duck move, come out to the right a little bit, and find his guy on a dart right where the ball needs to be. Watch.
Ooh, look at Nix. What a great job. How about that?
I mean, geez, I just have to look at that one more time, guys.
14-10. That's the count the first quarter.
Just stays patient.
Ooh, look at Nix. What a great job. How about
Pump fakes, ducks under the defender, and finds his guy. Stays patient within the pocket. I mean, guys, this guy has the most starts in college football history. I think he's at 56, 57 starts now in his career. Broke an NCAA record with that. I mean, you're seeing it in this game. A freshman does not make plays like that. A freshman does not stay patient in the pocket, duck, and make plays. A Heisman-level contender that deserves to be in New York at the end of the season makes plays like that. And he's got his team with one loss here off a missed field goal. Literally, we're 3 points away from being undefeated. And we could get our revenge opportunity against Washington. You guys want to talk about a Heisman moment? There it was. And there was one against Utah. I wish I could show you the guys that play, but I don't have a load up right now. But I'm pretty sure you guys can know what I'm talking about. Go find it. In the red zone at Utah, he goes and finds a play. You know, Dan Lanning, certainly, okay, Ducks were up 14-10 after the first quarter. Certainly wasn't the prettiest for the Ducks, okay? Dan Lanning, he always talks about holding them to the standard after the media, or after the game, and he talks to the media. He told the media that, quote unquote, they didn't play to their standard. And in Dan Lanning's program, so he calls it, there's just a certain level of standard. Doesn't matter. Even when we won 81-7 against Portland State, didn't matter. There were things to fix. There's always things to fix. There's always things to get better. And that's something I just love about Dan Lanning, his attitude, the pedigree he brings to this program, the standard he's holding people to is just on another level than other programs across the country. And you're seeing it. We talked about Oregon going to the Big Ten here next year. Out of the 4 West Coast teams, USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, which team looks more prepped, more ready to handle these big offensive line, big defensive line, big physical, nasty play in the trenches that the Big Ten has to offer? The Michigans, the Ohio States, the Iowas, the Wisconsins, week to week. I think the Ducks, out of any team coming in the West Coast to the Big Ten, are more primed and ready because of Dan Lanning and the standard he holds his players to and the culture he's bringing to this Duck team. You know, I said it, guys, when Dan Lanning got hired. Okay, the Ducks always had an offense. I love Chip Kelly. I love the offenses. I love Mike Bellotti in the past. All these great offenses that Oregon has had. Mark Helford taking us to the national championship, right, until it fizzled out. If the Ducks ever focus on a defensive mindset, look, Ducks are known for that. They're known for that offense. They've always had quarterbacks in their past. They got Bo Nix right now, Heisman contender. There's plenty of high school kids that want to be the next Bo Nix at Oregon. Trust me. They're going to have an offense. It's if this Oregon team can have a defense one day, and that's what Dan Lanning and Tosh Lepore are bringing. Now, I'm not going to lie. First year was a little bit of a struggle, okay? A little bit of a head scratcher, okay? You thought the defense would have been a little bit better than that the first year. But still, guys, we lost only 2 games. We went to a bowl game and won it. 1-0 in bowl games under Dan Lanning. And this defense has drastically improved. Coming into the season, guys, I just wanted a top 50 defense. I would have been happy with that. Last year, we were close to the hundreds in total defense. This year, we're close to top 10. Okay, we're top 10 there for a minute there. I think we kind of came down a little bit. But things are rolling here in Eugene. Let's move on to the second quarter. Okay, the Ducks, they try to drive it in, but they get stopped. Around a 53-yard field goal in the rain. Definitely a hard field goal with the distance alone, and then you add the rain in as a factor. That was a pretty tough field goal to make, and Camden Lewis just missed it. You know, matter of fact, it was pretty far left. It was a pretty bad miss. I really hope after him missing field goals like that, missing the game winner at Washington, that his confidence really comes back, because you don't want kicks like this affecting him going forward. You know, if we play some close games, maybe in the playoff and the conference championship, right, we need him again. It feels like an area where in this Ducks team where I'm going to be closing my eyes because, Camden is just off and on. Look, when he's money and he's on a streak of being money, this dude, I have the most confidence in him. But when he starts missing kicks every couple weeks now, I'm just getting, man, I just hope the Ducks win by a couple scores here, because if we get in a game where we need him and he's got the pressure on him, I just hope his confidence is there to start getting on a roll again, because that's the thing about kickers. It's all about confidence. It's all about confidence. He missed that one. Let's just keep an eye on Camden. Hopefully he gets more opportunities here against USC, Arizona State, and Oregon State, our final 3 games. Hopefully the Ducks are up big in a couple of these games here so he can get some opportunities for some field goals and get his confidence back in it before we hit the conference championship game in bowl season. Jaden Ott, let's talk about him. He's a very tough player to stop, guys. I said this in my preview and prediction episode with my guy, Cal Cangella. We do our preview and prediction episodes usually on either Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. This Cal offense, they started to get some life in the second quarter, okay? Him, Jaden Ott, that offense got into the red zone. The Ducks defense, like I said, though, we got a defense that were able to hold. Cal made a short field goal, made the game real close at this point, 14-13 early in the second. The Oregon offense gets the ball next, ran the ball down Cal's throat, got near the goal line. It appears that the Cal defense was going to get a stop, but a late hit on Bo Nix kept the drive going. Bo Nix rushed it in for a second rushing touchdown of the game. 12 plays, nice lengthy 6-minute drive. Ducks go up 21-13 mid-second quarter. Ducks get Cal off the field next drive. Ducks get it right back, and Nix started going off right before halftime. He started heating up, guys. Troy Franklin, Tej Johnson repeatedly made plays down the field, and Bo Nix and Tej Johnson combo stayed true for a 14-yard pass touchdown, baby. Ducks go up 28-13. That Bo Nix, Tej Johnson combo is special. Ducks defense get a quick 3 and out, and special teams comes up huge with an electric Tej Johnson punt return down to the Cal 20. Guys, talking about special teams being a factor and coming through, really came through in this game, man. Tej Johnson comes up with a big punt return. I thought he could have cut back and could have went to that touchdown, but he goes out of bounds near the Cal 20. That was absolutely huge right before halftime. Keep that momentum going right before halftime. Ducks, within the last 4 minutes before halftime, all year long have been dominant. And Tej Johnson, I said in the spring game, man, put him on special teams, because the very first time I ever saw him catch the ball as a fan in the spring game, he took it 70 yards to the house right in front of my section. And I was like, man, this guy reminds me of DeAnthony Thomas. And I do not bring up his name with just any player, all right? Tej Johnson is absolutely electric. He almost had himself a play, and I feel like this is something going forward in these last 3 games here the Ducks can really take advantage of. If Tej Johnson gets the punt, people are punting towards him, and he gets a window, I think Tej Johnson could take this thing to the house, and he almost did against Cal, getting it down to the 20. Excuse me, guys, with 14 seconds left on the clock. Right before the half, Bo Nix fires a perfect pass to the right side of the end zone to Troy Franklin, putting the Ducks up 35-13 at the half. And then when I say a perfect pass, this was a rollout to the right at the border of the out of bounds on the touchdown. Troy Franklin needed to have it away from his defender. He catches it, gets a foot in bounds away from the defender, and does what he does. Ducks were up 35-13 at this point. Really felt like Ducks were playing a good game at halftime, but it felt like they definitely could have done a lot better. There was a few penalties in that first half that stalled out some drives, bring us back a little bit. And, the defense gave up a couple plays here and there. This is where things started to get a little interesting. Cal came out, guys, with their ears pinned back, drove it down the field with their RPO game. I'm just going to be honest, guys. As a player who used to play against the RPO in my conference where I played, it's pretty difficult to have your eyes in the right place when defending this Cal offense and the RPO offense. 1 second, you think they're running it. The next, they're passing it over the top. You really have to be disciplined for the whole 60 minutes when you're playing an offense like the Golden Bears run. Jaden Ott, he scores on a 20-yard rush to start the half. Cal goes for 2, was unsuccessful. So Ducks go up 35-19 at the beginning of the third. Ducks get the ball back and go 3 and out. But again, special teams comes through because punter Ross James, shout out Ross James this game, led off an absolutely beauty and pinned the Cal Bears on their own 3-yard line. Ducks were able to get a 3 and out because they pinned them so deep. Cal Bears, are just really hard for them to move it back there, and they had to get it back to the Ducks. Bo Nix and this Oregon offense marched right down the field quickly. Bucky Irving, scores on a 6-yard run to put the Ducks up 42-19 at this point. Cal gets the ball back, and this is where a drive where Mendoza looked his best all game. I'm not going to lie, mid-third quarter here. He gets the Cal Bears offense all the way down to the Oregon 5-yard line. But once again this season, guys, this Oregon defense makes a play. Shout out to Evan Williams for making a play and causing a fumble, and the Ducks recover it, get the ball back up 42-19, entering the fourth quarter, entering shout. Shout out, okay, got to give a shout out to the Cal player who was injured on that fumble play. I'm not aware of the exact injury yet. I know the guy was sent to the hospital on a gurney. I didn't exactly see the injury or exactly what happened, but what I do know is when it takes almost 10 minutes total to get a player on a gurney and, up and make sure he's getting to the right place for care, it's just not a good sign. That's a lot of time to lay down on the ground. So I was, the whole Autzen crowd, including myself, was pretty worried. Got to give it up for the Autzen. Oregon showed a lot of class, clapped when they got him up. Hopefully that Cal Bear player, this is, I want to beat Cal. I want to see, our Ducks win. But at the end of the day, I also want to see everybody healthy, not get hurt. And at the end of the day, we're all human. And, that Cal Bear player is a scary sight. He was down for a while, and I'm just hoping that guy can get back on the field and do what he does and play some football, man. So shout out that guy and, for being tough, getting through it, and shout out the Oregon crowd for showing some class and clapping when he got up. Fourth quarter, we were shouting. It was absolutely awesome. Entering the fourth, Bo Nix just started to shred this Cal Bear defense with passes all over the field. Tez Johnson, Troy Franklin. It was an absolute show. On the Cal 4-yard line in the red zone, Nix rolls out to the right and finds tight end Terrence Ferguson wide open. The Ducks go up 49-19 at this point, and Bo Nix finished the game. Amazing stat line. We're going to talk about his stat line. He was easily the player of the game. Ty Thompson comes into the game into the fourth quarter. It was a great showing for Ty Thompson, guys, as he made a few throws down the field with accuracy. Really felt like he was comfortable out there running this offense. He looks to be the guy the Ducks are going to look to in 2024. Now, I know the Ducks can easily, this transfer portal era, bring a transfer portal in, quarterback in. They brought Bo Nix 2 years ago through the transfer portal. I think they're more likely going to do it again. Now, it's not to say that, they're going to transfer a guy that's automatically QB1. A lot of people on Twitter might just start out to assume that when we do transfer somebody, land a transfer, because I think I'm 90% sure Dan Lanning and the staff's going to go after a transfer quarterback when it's all said and done. It's not to say Ty Thompson's not ready, but it's also not to say that he is ready. Now, it did look good, really good against this Cal Bear offense. But he's looked good. This is my point here. He's looked good against lower competition. Okay, Cal Bears, they only have 3 wins all season. Let's be real. This was lower competition. He looked good. Stony Brook, he looked good. Every time he gets in against lower competition, he looked good. When he went in against Washington a couple years ago, seemed like the staff didn't really trust him. When he plays against higher competition, some good teams, better defenses, it seems like he's tend to struggle a little bit. So I want to see Ty Thompson grow. He definitely did his thing in this game. It was great, and I want to see him grow with this team. And look, if you're the guy, if you're QB1, whoever this staff brings in through the transfer portal, Ty Thompson should beat him out. Make him earn it. That's what I always say. Bring in a transfer portal. I'm not saying if I want a transfer portal guy, I'm not saying I don't want Ty Thompson. That's not me on the side of whoever they bring in. I'm on their side. No, hey man, let the best guy win. Bring 2 transfer portal quarterbacks in. I don't care how many ever you guys need. Shit, Austin Novosad, don't forget about him. Freshman quarterback this year, but he can ride the pine. He's learning everything under Bo Nix. What if he comes out his sophomore year more built under this system already in year 2 and comes out firing? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of options here, but they go to Ty Thompson here in this game, and he looked real good. We'll talk about his stat line in a second. Speaking of guys that we'll be looking forward to next year in 2024, Jordan James was an absolute bull. He had a 16-yard touchdown run that put the Ducks up 56-19. He broke like 3 or 4 tackles in just that one touchdown run, guys. That's something that makes him and Bucky so special. Guys just can't bring him down. I think him and Jordan James are 1 and 2 there in the Pac-12 conference in yards per carry, just off the simple fact of guys are not bringing them down. The first guy, you're going to need a couple guys to bring these guys down. Both Jordan James and Bucky Irving, absolute special. The young running backs, can't forget about them this game. Dante Dowdell, Jaden Lamar got in, made some plays. Good to see them make some plays, get some good runs in. Ty Thompson converted on a nice 4th and 2. A nice connection to Trayshawn Holden, connection that we could see a lot of in the near future here. Trayshawn Holden got another year. He can come back. Like we just mentioned, Ty Thompson could be our starting quarterback next year. It's good to see the staff not run the ball there. We were running the ball pretty well with Dowdell and Lamar at that point. We could have easily handed off on a 4th and 2. Well, they'd go ahead and trust Ty, see what Ty Thompson can do, and he makes the right decision, wide open to Trayshawn Holden, gets the conversion. Really like to see that stuff from Ty Thompson. And then we get to the touchdown here that Ty made. Okay, we're talking about a really tough throw. Look, other side of the field, Trayshawn Holden's doing an out route. You're Ty Thompson on the left side of the field. You got to throw it to the outside stick, and hopefully Trayshawn catches it. They originally called it out of bounds. After review, Trayshawn Holden was in bounds, and Ty Thompson gets a touchdown. Very impressive drive from Ty Thompson and the young guys to go down the field and get a final score, putting the Ducks up 63-19 to end this thing. Very, very impressive win by the Ducks to finish this thing off. Look, when you're a big time college football program like you are right now, top 10 in the country, sitting right outside the college football playoff, you come home and you handle business just like you should. Very impressive win from the Ducks. You know what else is impressive? Winning money and watching sports, guys. I'm in love with Mojo Fantasy. It's a crazy new app that turns sportsbook odds and selections into fantasy contests. Here's how it works, guys. There are thousands of NFL and MLB player props. You build a portfolio, and the better your portfolio performs, the more cash you win. Pick as many props as you want and try to beat the crowd. It's a whole new way to play fantasy. The props act like stocks, so you can buy and sell live all game long. It's the only fantasy app that lets you make moves after the game starts, so you're not stuck with a bad pick. You can cash out on a hot start or just hang on and let them ride. Cash contests are based on real sportsbook odds. Get the same live player prop selection odds and cash outs as Mojo's New Jersey Sportsbook. You can trade sports just like stocks. You control the action. Ride your picks, cash out, or enter new positions instantly. And there's no house advantage, guys. Beat the crowd by building the biggest portfolio to climb the leaderboard and win cash prizes. That's it. Make picks, make moves, make money. Download now on the Apple App Store and use my code DuckZone for a 100% deposit match up to $100 for your first time deposit. Link in the description for more. All right, guys, let's get into a stat recap. Bo Nix, man. Bodacious. Bo Heisman. Call him whatever you want. Call him the MVP of this game because my guy went for 29 of 38 passing. He's been leading the whole country with nearly 80% completion rating this year. He does it again this game. 29 completions, only 9 incompletions, guys. Heisman-worthy stuff. 386 yards through the air. 4 touchdowns passing. 2 on the ground. That's 6 total touchdowns. And guys, I get it. We got J.J. McCarthy out there in Michigan where they steal signs and they cheat. We got Michael Penix who plays really good and then all of a sudden drops off against Arizona State and had a bad game. With Bo Nix, you don't get that. Week in and week out, this guy is performing and putting up numbers. And I hate to say it, Washington fans that are saying, hey, no, Penix got the head-to-head win. Hold on, Penix should be in the head of the Heisman. He just got the USC win against Caleb Williams. Well, guess what? Bo Nix outperformed Michael Penix in the head-to-head statistically. Michael Penix did get the win off a missed kick. That was not Bo Nix's fault. And then two, Bo Nix is just one of the most consistent players in college football, man. 80% completion rating speaks for itself. And he does it again this game. I mean, this is something that Spencer McLaughlin on Locked On Ducks has been harping. This is something that I've been saying. We cannot take Bo Nix for granted. Look, when we had Marcus Mariota in 2014, 2013, those special years, I was in middle school and high school, and I really took that for granted coming from somebody who was kind of born into the golden era of Oregon football and watched it. I had no idea how good what I was watching. And the Heisman, the guy won the Heisman. And it was just a huge moment that I knew it was big, but I didn't realize how big. Like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. First Heisman in Oregon history where Marcus Mariota was. Bo Nix has the opportunity to do it again here, a decade later in my lifetime. So Oregon is building a special. Bo Nix is special, and he deserves, at the end of the day, this guy deserves a trip to New York City. If he doesn't win it, so be it. But let him at least get to New York City, man, because this guy is performing in and out. I think if he goes to the conference championship game, beats Michael Penix, I think you'll see him in New York. I don't think there's, without a doubt, you'll see him in New York if that's what goes down. Let's talk about this offense today, guys. This offense was really nice today. You know, like I said, 444 yards passing between Ty Thompson and Bo Nix together, almost 500 yards through the air, 9.7 yards per pass. This is something that has just been really efficient in this Will Stein offense, is just yards per play. How many yards every time the ball snapped, on average, how many yards are we getting each game? Oregon is like one of the tops in the country, guys, in efficiency on offense and yards per play. They get 10 yards per pass every time Bo Nix, Ty Thompson were throwing the ball as a first down, basically. Rushing the ball, 153 yards on the ground. So Cal did hold Oregon under the rushing average. Oregon averages around, I think, 220 per game on the ground, so significantly worse. But this is just because that pass game for Bo Nix and this Oregon pass game and those wide receivers, man, it was just outmatched for Cal. Athlete per athlete, Cal just couldn't do a thing. Couldn't do a thing. So the rush game wasn't really needed. It wasn't like it was shut down. I mean, 4.3 yards per rush, really, really good. 9 penalties, guys, is something that has been biting Oregon a couple times. And again, it's in a game where it's not going to cost you. You just have too much talent. But again, if we get 9 penalties for 99 yards in a close game, those are the type of stats that worry you going forward, because championship teams, they don't get 9 penalties for 99 yards at home. They just don't. So that's something that definitely has to be cleaned up. A lot of those were in the first half. Second half, a lot of those penalties did get cleaned up. 2 turnovers on the day for the Ducks offense. A little bit sloppy play, was in the rain. One of those I say you can blame on the rain because it hit the receiver in the hands. It slipped right out of his hands, and the Cal defender got it. He got the interception. So that was one of those. You can kind of blame on the rain there. Ducks have been the best, literally the best team in college football, not turning over the ball. So seeing 2 turnovers in one game, that's all. We had 2 turnovers all season long. Now we have 4. So that was kind of unwarranted. But offensively, guys, 10 of 14 on third down. That's a huge stat. I mean, real efficient on third down. Cal could not get us off the field, allowing Oregon to keep drives alive, keep the momentum in the game, keep the crowd into it, and keep it going. Bucky Irving finished with 18 carries, 89 yards on the ground, and a touchdown. Again, big fan of Bucky Irving, man. One of my favorite players on the team. I think this guy will also be successful in the NFL because he's a do-it-all back. I mean, you watch the film, this guy can block. This guy can go out for a pass. This guy, we all know how he runs the ball. He's just a dog. And we can't stop talking about the offense without bringing up this wide receiver room. And it's led by Tez Johnson, man. Tez Johnson, 12 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Absolute one of probably Tez Johnson's biggest game of his life. He's got his brother, Bo Nix. What a story back there, giving him the ball. Tez Johnson, man, baller day. Probably if you want to tie him in with Bo Nix, a player of the game, that's definitely a crazy stat line. 12 catches, 180 yards, and then 2 touchdowns to go along with Troy Franklin. He just had a nice little quiet 6 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Guys, just a few years ago, that would have been like God stats for an Oregon receiver. Like this Oregon receiver room just like 3-4 years ago, we had a receiver go for 6 receptions at 79 yards and a touchdown. That was like one of the best performances we've seen. This was a quiet because of what Tez Johnson did from Troy Franklin. 6 catches, 79 yards for a touchdown. And then Trayshawn Holden had that touchdown at the end of the game. He had a nice 5 receptions for 48 yards. Gary Bryant Jr. got involved, 2 receptions, 38 yards. T. Ferg had a nice touchdown through the middle from Bo Nix, 3 receptions, 35 yards. And then a couple of the backs got involved as well through the pass game. Love to see it. Offensively, got 63 points on the board. We go against USC next week. I really think, and this is no joke, I really think we can get 60, 65, maybe even 70 against USC's defense next week. They look bad. Let's talk about this defense and what they did. So defensively to start the game, and then the start of the third quarter, I would say was the weak points. I'd say, definitely watch the film, see what Cal was doing to you there. They were able to kind of run the ball a little bit at times at the start of the first half, the start of the second half. But other than that, man, it was definitely a shutdown game. Fernando Mendoza finished the game with just 177 yards and an interception. He did not find the end zone. This guy's a true freshman. Definitely looked good at points. He looks like he's going to be a good quarterback for the Cal Bears moving forward. He's only a freshman. But, let me tell you. Sorry, guys. I'm messing up. Sorry, guys. My damn laptop wasn't plugged in properly. And now my light just turned off. Technical issues. But no, going back to Mendoza, definitely a quarterback that I'm going to be watching for the future. Even though the Cal Bears are headed to the ACC, it just feels like Mendoza is definitely doing some things for that Cal Bears offense. He's really precise in the RPO game, really a smart player already as a freshman. So really like what I've seen there. But the Ducks were able to get a lot of pressure. They only finished the game with 1 sack. Why am I doing this to myself? Team stats, please. They finished the game with only 1 sack, but with how much pressure they were able to get, and this D line has been doing this all year. It's big, strong suit that the Ducks just didn't have last year. It's really impressive to see just the total flip that the Ducks defense up front is able to get with pressure, and the pressure is what really disrupted Mendoza on that interception. It disrupted him all game. Passes were kind of off, soaring off. It disrupts the timing when you get pressure of an offense, and you can really tell that pressure was affecting Mendoza. Jade Knott for the Cal Bears, their running back, special player. This guy, he's going to have a career in the NFL, no doubt. Jade Knott's one of the best running backs in the league. We held him to only 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. And this is something that all season, look, Utah was a top 5 rushing team coming into it. This is something all season that the Ducks have just shut down, dude. They shut down Utah's rushing offense that averaged 200 yards a game to under 100 yards rushing. Jade Knott, Cal Bears, this rushing offense was averaging almost 200 yards rushing. This was a good rushing attack. Cal Bears only finished with 109 yards rushing. I mean, it is week in and week out that this Oregon front is just putting pressure on quarterbacks, disrupting offenses, and stopping the run. And Oregon has a dominant defense. And that's what makes them college football playoff contenders. They got Bo Nix, the Heisman contender, the dark horse Heisman contender, leading their offense with a plethora of wide receivers around them. They got the running backs. They got the O-line. They got an offense that could score 50, 60 points a game, no doubt. Last year, what they couldn't do is stop teams. And this year, they can stop teams. They can do it through the secondary. Feels like Chris Hampton's really making a difference back there, doing some things. They can stop it up front. Brandon Dorless, Jordan Birch, Mateo Gagale, Tatum Toyota, making big differences here. Casey Rogers looks to be elite right in the middle. Taki Tiamani, Popo Amave. I mean, these guys are making plays, and this is a veteran-led team, experienced team on both sides of the ball. Not many mistakes, not many turnovers from this Oregon team. I mean, this is a real college football playoff contending team. No doubt about it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and recap my 3 keys to the game. I always like to give my 3 keys to the game before the game, and this is what I think they could do. So let Bucky eat was number 1. The Cal Bears really struggled to defend the run. I felt like Bucky Irving had an absolute day against Utah, and he was getting hot. And I thought he could do it here, and he really did. I mean, he ended up with below his season average, under 100 yards rushing. But this is a game where, again, you didn't really need Bucky to eat that way. The matchups on the outside with Tez and Troy Franklin and Trayshawn Holden were just outmatched for the Cal secondary. So you didn't really need it. But I'll still give the Ducks a pass there for number 1 because he still, when he only had 18 carries, close to 100 yards. I mean, what more do you want from a running back? That's very good numbers. Number 2, I would start fast. So I would say an X here, guys. Did not start fast. He allowed Cal, you made mistakes. First play was an interception. It was 14-10, 14-13 at one point in the second quarter. Certainly wasn't a fast start to this game, but it was nice to see the Ducks. What do they do? What are the best teams in college football do? Doesn't matter if you hang in for one quarter. This game is played in 4 quarters. The Ducks know how to play four-quarter football and got it done. Got a big win, even though it was 14-13 in the start of the second quarter. Number 3, force Cal into 3rd and longs offensively. This is another point about the defense that I just didn't bring up. Look, last year, coming into this season, on 3rd down, it was like you held your breath. You felt like teams, if we were 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, didn't matter. It felt like teams were going to convert on us. It just felt like they were going to keep converting. They held Cal to 3 and 14 on 3rd down. And how do you do that against a Cal team that runs RPO? You got to stop the run on 1st down. You got to stop whatever's happening on 2nd down. Get them on 3rd long, because then you know exactly what's coming. You have a package for that. If you let them run that ball a couple yards, get a nice little 2nd down pass, now you're 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 all day. Cal's probably 3rd down efficiency is a lot better than it was. Oregon was able to get them on a lot of third and longs, get a lot of pressure on those 3rd and longs, and forced Mendoza to throw the ball early. They forced Cal to 3 and 14 on 3rd down. Really good there from the Ducks defense. All right, guys. So look, Ducks got a big win, 63-19. We absolutely love it. If you love this podcast, you love tuning in each and every week to talk some Oregon football and Pac-12 ball with me, here's your way to support the podcast financially and rock some dope limited edition gear that's going to be gone right after this season. So if you really want to show some support, here's your way to do it right here. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dominiqk Peterson, host of the DuckZone503 Podcast, where we talk all things Oregon football. Very excited to announce we just launched our very first merch store. Men's and women's t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, stickers, phone cases, mugs, and cups are all sold at DuckZone503.creator-spring.com. If you want to go grab one of those today, that's DuckZone503.creator-spring.com. Store link will be in the description below as well. All right, guys, that was awesome. So, guys, Oregon gets it done, 63-19, big win over the Cal Bears, like they should have done at home. Who was expecting a close game, right? Now we get USC at home. Okay, USC's kind of derailed a little bit. They've lost 3 games on their season. They just lost one to Washington, one they really wanted. If you guys seen Caleb Williams, definitely very emotional after that loss. We're going to see how much of a fight this USC team can give Oregon at home, an Oregon team that's very hungry to make it back and play Washington in the conference championship game. And it appears that Washington has the driver's seat for that. So it's going to get down to the nitty gritty. November is the month where college football teams get exposed, and USC just got exposed. It's going to be fun to watch. Let's do it. And oh my goodness, I have the wrong scores up on the screen, so excuse me for that. Okay, let's go. Pac-12. We're going to do some Pac-12 recap on what happened this last week and see what is going down. What happened in week 10 of the Pac-12. Sorry, guys. Give me a minute as I pull this up. For some reason, I had a screenshot of the scores, and it, for whatever reason, was the wrong scores. Okay, here we go. I have the right scores now. Let me bring this up for you guys. Jeez, Dom, get into it, man. Come on, man. All right, there we go. So, week 10, we had Washington at USC. This was the game of the week. Number 5, Washington on the road. Number 20, USC. Is USC real? Okay, so many people gave all the media pundits, all the media darlings, every single year in the preseason, they gave Caleb Williams, and it's not just Caleb Williams, it's USC. They gave USC all the media hype. USC gets all the media hype every preseason. I get it. Caleb Williams and this offense, the former Heisman Trophy winner, blah, 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 blah. Can Lincoln Riley ever have a defense? And this is something I'm going to get into. Lincoln Riley has never in his head coaching career had a defense, and I get it. People want to blame Alex Grinch for that. I have a totally different opinion, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But Washington gets it done here, 52-42 over the Trojans. In a back-and-forth game, this game really could have went either way, but like I said, Washington, USC, they both have bad defenses. This game showed that they both have bad defenses, but Washington defense is just a fingernail better. And they ended up shutting out USC, having a 10-0 shutout fourth quarter and winning the game. A game that was 42-42 entering the fourth. Washington Defense steps up when it's needed. This is something that championship teams do. This is something that Washington did against Oregon. They stepped up when it was needed and made the big-time plays. And they're sitting there undefeated, 9-0, 6-0 in Pac-12 play, and sitting pretty, possibly going to the conference championship where Oregon could await them because obviously they got their win 63-19 over the Cal Bears, 8-1, 5-1 for Oregon now. Oregon State, Colorado. Oregon State, number 16, goes into Boulder and gets a close 26-19 win. If you guys watch the preview and prediction episodes where I predict who's going to win each game, I said this exact thing. I think Oregon State's going to come in here. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I think Oregon State's going to have enough up front to win a very, very close game, and they do just that. They were up pretty big, I think 21-5 or something in the somewhere in the game. Colorado kind of stormed back a little bit in that fourth quarter, but nonetheless, like I said, Oregon State has enough to get it done 26-19. And then Utah, I said this as well. I had a good feeling this was going to happen. Not as ugly as this, but I had a good feeling a beatdown was coming. Utah beats Arizona State 55-3 at home after a pretty bad loss, pretty bad showing. I'm sure Utah wanted to get their revenge, and they certainly did against Arizona State. I feel bad for the Sun Devils to face Utah in that stadium after the way they lost to Oregon. Arizona State ran into a buzzsaw. And then Arizona beating UCLA 27-10. Look, I didn't know it was going to be a big-time win like this where UCLA just couldn't move the ball, but I had a good feeling about Arizona. I think Arizona's getting hot at the right time. I think their program is rising. I think their players have a lot of confidence, and congratulations to them. They get to go bowling. They beat a top 25 team. That proves you're a bowl-eligible team, and they are certainly the surprise of the season. Noah Fafita throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Guys, this is a freshman in this game. Terratero McMillan, T-Mac, as they like to call him, 4 receptions for 81 yards, continues to be special for this Arizona offense, and this defense is really starting to step up under Jed Fish. Watch out for the Wildcats. Boy, am I glad that we played the Sun Devils instead of the Wildcats if I'm a Duck fan. And then this is a surprise. This was definitely a big surprise. Washington State it's getting ugly out there in Pullman. I don't know what's going on with the Cougars. They looked real dangerous at the beginning of the season, but things are just falling apart for this Washington State offense and Cam Ward. They finished the game with only 7 points. Stanford scores 10 on the road and gets a big victory in Pullman, 10-7. Talk about a nice victory for head coach at Stanford there that just came in and gets himself a nice signature win. Butchering the name right now. I know it's Troy something. Forgot his last name, but congratulations to Coach Troy over there at Stanford, man, getting a big-time win. 10-7. Stanford get a nice big-time win on the road at night. What a week in the Pac-12. Pac-12 continues to be special, guys, and make sure you guys live it up because this is literally, as you know, the last season of the Pac-12 before it dissolves. And we go, Duck fans go to the Big Ten, USC, UCLA, Washington, all join us. Other schools going to different conferences. So enjoy it while it lasts because the Pac-12 has just been a gift to watch in its final season. In other news, this is a pretty big topic, guys. USC has fired defensive coordinator Alex Grinch. And USC fans rejoiced, they celebrated, and they think all their problems just left their program just like that. Just like that in a snap of a hat. And I hate to tell you guys, I have a total wildly different opinion than the majority here. Now, I get it. The defense for USC has been absolutely awful. Under Lincoln Riley, Alex Grinch has been there for the majority under Lincoln Riley as his defensive coordinator, and his defenses have been awful. But Lincoln Riley also had a guy in Mike Stoops when he first got to Oklahoma. And some argue that Mike Stoops was even worse than Alex Grinch when it comes to coaching defenses. And now this is 1 and 2 defensive coordinators that you have now pointed the finger to and say it's your fault. And I get it. Lincoln Riley is known for offenses and he's an offensive guru. But you see with Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning has one of the top offenses in the country. He's known for defense. He's also got one of the top defenses in the country as well with Oregon. I get it. Lincoln Riley is an offensive coach, but don't you think the way he recruits the talent in LA, you should have a defense? Now you're probably saying, Dom, wait, hold on a second. This is Alex Grinch coaches the defense. Well, hold on a second. Alex Grinch coaches those. Remember Washington State in 2015, 2016, 2017 when they were really damn good with Gardner Minshew, and they were close to going to the Pac-12 championship game, and they were beating the hell out of Oregon when they went on the road. You guys remember that? Guess whose defense was coached? That was Alex Grinch. USC's got 4 or 5 stars everywhere. At Washington State, they only had 3 stars and 2 stars. And Alex Grinch was doing a hell of a good job over there. Now he comes under Lincoln Riley and struggles. And everybody wants to point the finger to him. Like he's a bad coach. Like he was on the field missing the tackles. Like he was on the field allowing 50 points per game. Like he was on the field allowing 500 yards per game. Like, to me, the logic is just ass backwards. I get it. There's some blame. I would say 10, 15, maybe even 20%. If you want to give it a percentage blame here, distribution on players versus coaches. But players are the ones that are on the field. And we're USC fans, I hate to say it to you. You're going to see it against Oregon. Oregon's going to put it on you. Or you're coming to Autzen. This team's hot. And this offense is rocking and rolling right now. We're playing the best football we have all season. We might put up 60, maybe even 70 points per game on your defense. And Alex Grinch ain't there anymore. He ain't the guy to point the finger to. Now, I get it. It might just be that was the defense this year. And then next year, you're going to hire a guy, and the defense is going to be bad again because you guys got Lincoln Riley as your head coach. And then you guys will be out the door with the next defensive coordinator in a year or two. Or maybe you guys will wake up and have the same realization that I'm having and look at Lincoln Riley as your head coach. Look at all the years that he's been at Oklahoma and USC and the defenses that he has. And he's 0-3 in playoff games even with all those Heisman contenders. He's 0-3 in big games because he's never had a defense. He doesn't care about a defense. He wants that guy who he hires, the defense coordinator, to take all the blame, do it all. Don't worry about it. He wants to worry about his offense. That's just what Lincoln Riley is. And USC, if you guys want a defense, you're going to have to get a new head coach. I just don't. If you don't have a head coach, if you don't have a culture based around defense, you look at Dan Lanning, what he's building, the defense he's building, he's all about physicality, defense, winning championship, defense, win championship, guys. Offense wins games, defense win championships. It's an old saying in the book. And I might have a hot take here, but unless you don't get rid of Lincoln Riley, I don't think USC is going to have a defense, folks. That's just kind of my take about it. Some might disagree. Some might get in the comments and want to disagree. Feel free to do so. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Dominiqk Peterson. This is the DuckZone503 Podcast. We talk all things Oregon football. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Rate the podcast on Spotify if you're listening on there. 5 stars for me always helps out. As always, guys, I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. We're going to preview and predict this USC matchup with a special guest on the pod here soon. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. As always, guys, go Ducks. See you in the next one.